Welcome to the Character Gallery. Thomas has so many friends on the island of Sodor. This is your chance to get to know your island friends and even learn fun facts about each of them. Use your arrow buttons on your remote control to pick your favorite character and press the Enter button to begin. You can either sit back and read along, or if you're in a hurry to see a favorite Sodor friend, you can click on the Next button that appears on the screen. If you would like to go back to the previous Sodor friend, click on the Back button that appears on the screen. Have fun! Thomas can be described as a cheeky, fussy little engine. He often gets into scrapes, usually by being overeager to do things best left to bigger and more sensible engines. But clouds never last long in Thomas's world, and he's soon bustling about again, playing his part in the yard and on his very own branch line, of which he is extremely proud. Thomas is based on the London, Brighton and South Coast Railway 060E2 with extended side tanks. James is a medium-sized engine. His 6 driving wheels are not as big as Gordon's and not as small as Thomas's. He has a fine scarlet coat and brass dome and likes to think of himself as a really splendid engine. This can occasionally lead to highfalutin ideas about the sort of work suitable for such a noble creature. Invariably, they land James into trouble. James is a mixed-traffic engine, which means he can pull both passenger coaches as well as freight cars. Percy is the junior member of the principal team of engines. He is a happy little chap who's normally quite content puffing around the yard, with no particular desire for adventure in the great world outside. He is always keen to oblige, a fact of which the other engines are apt to take advantage. Percy is a 040 saddle tank engine based on engines from the Avonside Engine Company. Fergus is a traction engine who works at the cement works. Working around all the dust has given Fergus a chronic cough, but he is extremely reliable and always plays by the rules. Unsurprisingly, he's resistant to change and can be irritated when other engines muck about. Gordon is the senior member of the engine family, the fastest and most powerful of my string, and he knows it. He's good-hearted, though, and always willing to forgive and use his superior strength to help smaller engines out of trouble. When the Queen visited the island, it was Gordon I turned to take the Queen around Sodor. Toby is old-fashioned, both in looks and outlook. Every engine, no matter how old, wants to be really useful, and having once nearly been scrapped, Toby is always happy to work. He's not above being temperamental sometimes, but since he works mainly up an outlying quarry line, he can work off his moods without causing grief to anyone except his own faithful coach, Henrietta. I brought Toby to the railway to help out with Thomas's branch line. Other than their names, plaques, and numbers, Donald and his brother Douglas are twins. Donald does not like to be parted from his brother and loves to play practical jokes on the other engines. When Douglas and his brother Donald arrived at the island, no one could tell them apart because they had lost their numbers and name plaques. Harvey is a good-natured crane engine, brought to the island to help loading and unloading of freight. No job is too big for him. He's used in the yards, the docks, and building sites, but his true home is the Sodor Waterworks. Although at first the other engines teased him for his unique look, Harvey, with his breakdown crane, soon proved that he too was a really useful engine. Like all cranes, Cranky has a high and mighty attitude that often annoys the engines. Cranky knows that if he ever gets too big for his crane hook, the engines have ways of getting back at him. However, Cranky enjoys teasing them because he says it makes for good working relationships. Don't ask Percy if he agrees. Cranky mainly works down at the docks. He will, however, be transported to other areas of the island, if it is absolutely necessary. Duncan means well, but will rock and roll whenever the mood takes him. He tends to have a mind of his own, which makes him obstinate and rude on occasions. He has a big heart, but is a little misguided. Duncan is now part of my narrow-gauge railway, of which he feels very overworked. Duncan first went to the narrow-gauge railway when Peter Sam had an accident. I am the director of the railway and responsible for making sure the engines are always right on time and really useful. I have a kind manner in dealing with the engines and staff, and have risen through the ranks from railway engineer to my current position. I was awarded a knighthood for my services to the railway industry.